Hello, and thanks for being here. My name is Paula, and I am the founder of Sweet Little Learners and also a kindergarten teacher in Ontario, Canada. These plans are quite universal. They can be used by anybody, I believe, anywhere with the input of your curriculum expectations and what your school day looks like. So let's dive in. So, the first week of kindergarten is pivotal. It sets the energy of your classroom, introduces students to what learning will feel like in this space, and it begins building the trust that everything else will rest upon. For me, week one is not about rushing to prove how much curriculum we can cover. It's about creating the conditions in which students can learn well for the rest of the year. Many of the students in JK are coming to school for the very first time. So I begin with the mini timetable because before I choose a single activity, I need to think about the rhythm students will experience. During the first week, every part of the day teaches something. Arriving, finding a space, joining a meeting, carrying materials, choosing an activity, asking for help, tidying up, moving outdoors, and coming back together. My practical advice is to keep whole group times shorter than you think they need to be. End the whole group activity while the students are still successful. Repeat the same transition language, use a visual cue, and explicitly model routines that adults often assume children already know. If a transition takes 10 minutes on Monday, that is not lost teaching time. The transition is the lesson. So the curriculum is present from the very first morning, even when the room does not look traditionally academic. In the Ontario kindergarten curriculum, learning includes belonging and contributing, self regulation and well being, communication and literacy, mathematical thinking, problem solving, inquiry, creativity, and collaboration. Week one gives students opportunities to listen, speak, represent ideas, count, compare, notice patterns, explore materials, create and contribute to a community. Teachers in other areas, not in Ontario, should begin with their own official curriculum and identify the expectations that naturally belong in a gentle first week transition. The independent activity centers, read aloud choices, songs, and finger plays are there to give you options, not a challenge to set up everything at once. Choose a small number of invitations that are easy to reset and easy for students to understand. Keep extra materials out of sight. Photograph a finished setup so children can help restore it. Put the most open ended materials when you can observe them. During week one, my clipboard is more important than an elaborate display. I am watching who enters confidently, who observes before joining, who communicates with words or gestures, who preserves, and who needs help beginning. So I begin the academic sequence with names because a name is meaningful before I teach anything about it. Names invite conversation about identity, family, and belonging. They also offer authentic opportunities to notice letters, sounds, length, shapes, straight and curved lines, order, and quantity. In these opening lessons, children become name detectives. They create their first letter, they rebuild their names, they count the letters in their names, and they begin a learning folder. My practical tip is to have each child's name available in several forms: a clear name card, a version with their photograph if that's appropriate, and loose letters or other building materials. Always confirm the pronunciation of a name with a child and family. Do not turn names into a comparison of who is more advanced. Instead, say, look at all the different ways our names are built. Friendship in the classroom and the community is very important in the first week. Classroom community are not posters we read once. Students learn through repeated action. The friendship lessons, disappearing name, water writing, stick and stone inquiry, and rainbow name art give us reasons to practice sharing a space, noticing another person's idea, and offering materials, taking turns, and reflecting. Before each activity, I teach one social routine, not five. Keep it simple. For example, today we'll be practicing how to ask before taking a material. Then I watch for it and name it when it happens. If conflict appears, I treat it as information about what the class still needs to learn, not proof that the activity failed. Never, ever, ever be scared to repeat things, to practice things, and to restart. Week one sets the foundation for everything. My week one numeracy is intentionally simple: curvy and straight lines, numbers 1 to 5, matching and writing numerals, representing one, and an introductory subitizing challenge. Simple does not mean shallow. It gives me a clear view of the children's mathematical thinking. Can they count with one-to-one correspondence? Do they know what the last count tells how many? Can they recognize a small quantity without counting each object? Can they represent one in more than one way? Can they explain what they notice? Use real objects before recording sheets. Let children point, move, build, draw, and talk. If a child cannot yet form a numeral, that should not prevent you from seeing what they understand about quantity. This is where the differentiation comes in and the cards that I've created for the lesson plans. Remember, most kindergartens classes in Ontario are JK-SK split. Some are just coming to school for the very first time, and some of them already had a year of learning. So it's important to differentiate your skills. The name and action lesson, community reflection, all about me work, and name resist art allow students to share themselves in many different ways. Not every student will want to speak in front of the whole group during the first week. Offer lots of choices. Tell a partner, point, draw, act, dictate to an adult, or share later. This is both responsive teaching and useful assessment. The student who is quiet in a meeting may communicate complex thinking through construction or art. Week one is when we begin learning how each child shows up and shows us how they know what they know. So I don't begin a formal phonics program until the third week of September. This is an intentional professional decision in my setting, not a statement that every teacher must follow. Before I begin a structured sequence, I want children to understand the routines that will make the teaching successful. How to listen briefly, respond together, handle materials, take risks, and try again. I'm also collecting information about oral language, letter knowledge, sound awareness, and fine motor readiness. Week one is still literacy rich. Children hear stories, sing, talk, notice, print, explore their names, and build letters in a STEAM challenge. I'm creating readiness and positive energy around literacy before adding the consistency of a formal program in week three. Every lesson in this week has been tried and true in my kindergarten classroom. The activities that remained are the ones that engaged real children, revealed useful learning, and could be adapted when the day did not go exactly as planned. My students were honest reviewers. They showed me which invitations pulled them into conversation, which materials encouraged persistence, and which experience they wanted to revisit. The lesson plan pages in my kit include preparation. They include minds on. They include teaching steps, consolidation, assessment look-fors, differentiation, and curriculum connections. Use that support, but remember, completing the plan is not the goal. Responding to your learners is the goal. There are also video links to YouTube stories, songs, or lessons, and I've modeled all the teacher lessons myself. If your first week feels slower than expected, that does not mean you are behind. The cards that I also offer templates. Now, printable templates are awesome, but you're not going to be asking children that are not forming letters, knowing how to grip a pencil, or wanting to write right away. Perhaps these can be saved for the SK students or the students that are a little bit more advanced. These lessons the complete first week of kindergarten brings the timetable, curriculum connections, 20 lessons and activities, printable supports, assessment ideas, and extensions together in one place. You can find it along with my complete September month and use the code YouTube2026 to get a 20% discount. Visit me at sweetlittlelearners.ca or on TPT to start. Make sure that you like and subscribe my YouTube channel where I have taped over 280 lessons. There I am, that work in the real life. If you want most of the lessons from this week one, make sure that you subscribe and stay tuned for the lesson plans below.